The massacre in Las Vegas leaves the nation stunned.
It leads people to rethink their stance on gun control.
I'm Alexis Clinton.
And I'm Bryant Reed.
You're watching Carolina News Today. The death toll from Sunday's massacre in Las Vegas, 59. It's overwhelming. The girlfriend of the shooter, Marlo Danley, has left the Philippines. Here's CNN's Nick Robertson.
Well, Philippine authorities have been very cautious about what they're telling journalists here. The reason for that, according to the spokesperson at the Immigration Bureau, is that they don't want to damage what is an active and ongoing U.S. investigation. But Mary Lou Danley's arrival back in the United States does appear to have triggered them being able to pass on some information. What the spokesperson at the Immigration Bureau said was that Mary Lou Danley arrived here in Manila on the 25th of September. But what was less clear when I talked to her was precisely the nature and conditions under which Mary Lou Danley left here.
When she arrived on the 25th, she was processed like a regular passenger. And on the 3rd of October, which was yesterday, she passed through immigration at around 4:56 p.m. and to board her flight to Los Angeles.
And she passed through immigration when she was leaving with FBI agents?
I cannot confirm that, sir. That is not something that is in the travel records. But what we can say is that all the information with respect to the travel of Miss Mary Lou Danley had been communicated with the Homeland Security as well as the FBI.
And as far as you know, she left on her own free will?
Well, we cannot say that if she was, we cannot confirm nor deny that because that is an information that we do not have. But what we can say is that she passed through the immigration process and was cleared by an immigration officer to board her flight departing the country.
Some people say it's time to get serious about increased regulations for gun ownership, at the same time that Congress was planning to loosen the restrictions even more. We asked students on campus if they've rethought their own positions on gun control.
I think that it should be harder for individuals to get military-level guns, and I think that we should look closer to do background checks and mental health checks before we allow Americans to get guns.
Maybe citizens shouldn't own automatic weapons. I mean, I hunt, and I've never once hunted with an automatic weapon in my life. It's very unnecessary, so I do understand people like shooting guns and automatic weapons, but maybe we should look into that. I also don't want to take away from people that do follow the rules because of one person, but it does seem like it might be getting a little bit out of hand. So I think, like I said, it should be looked into.
People who have guns should really get certified and tested for psychological problems and see what's really going on upstairs before they actually give out guns to people.
I just think maybe some more regulations on what type of guns. Like what happened in Las Vegas was a machine gun, so I just kind of think that it'd be like what type of guns and kind of regulations, maybe stricter regulations on who owns those guns, rather than banning them altogether. Because you have your big-time hunters who, carry rifles and stuff like that, and they hunt, and I'm a big-time hunter myself, so I don't think necessarily banning guns would be the solution. I just think it would just stricter regulations on those guns would be the solution.
A new off-campus housing complex in Pembroke is one step further to breaking ground. Pembroke Town Council approved a zoning change for a 10-acre tract of land to a multifamily dwelling district. Blue Campus LLC plans to build a 384-bedroom rental complex on land adjacent to UNCP. It will have 3-bedroom options for students and 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom townhouses for faculty members. Amenities will include a fitness area, pool, clubhouse, and a tutoring facility. The goal is to be move-in ready by July 1st, 2019.
The UNCP Healthy Start program recognized Infant Mortality Month with a ceremony at the water feature. Healthy Start is an outreach program of the university that provides health education to families with young children. Staff there say Robeson County exceeds state and national rates of infant deaths and that infant mortality is a sign of the overall health of a community. Thursday, they released balloons, including one for each of the 16 Robeson County babies who passed away in 2015. The department wants to raise awareness of healthy pregnancies and parenting.
Cigarette smoking continues to decline in North Carolina. but the state still exceeds the national average. According to the State Center for Health Statistics, 17.9% of North Carolina adults smoke cigarettes, and smoking continues to be the leading preventable cause of death in the state. Recent data shows that North Carolinians with less education, lower income, or not working are more likely to smoke. The state health department says half of people who continue to smoke will die of related diseases.
Town meets gown at the university's annual Pembroke Day. Student organizations and various departments on campus mingled with community partners. The event is the longest active tradition at UNCP and is designed to get students to know which local retailers and service providers are out there. Performances by music students and remarks by local dignitaries vied for attention with other activities. The Department of Athletics ran the dunking booth with head coaches as the targets to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
A farmer's market in the University Center last week was a benefit for the campus food pantry. Local growers brought several varieties of apples, squash, and cucumbers with other seasonal crops all grown within 250 miles. Students and employees could buy North Carolina specialties using all forms of payment, including the Braves card. Sodexo sponsors a farmers market here monthly and on campuses nationwide to promote sustainable farm-to-table practices.
After such a destructive hurricane season, it's hard to imagine dry conditions that can lead to forest fires. But the North Carolina Department of Agriculture is cautioning people about the fall wildfire season. This time of year, homeowners do a lot of yard work that includes burning a lot of leaves and yard debris. Those fires can escape and are the top cause of the wildfires in North Carolina. The Forest Service recommends keeping a hose and dirt nearby or composting your yard waste.
Risky driving behavior creates a danger for children commuting to school, especially those who bike or walk. And North Carolina Transportation Secretary Jim Trogdon delivered over 800 school supplies to help areas impacted by Hurricane Matthew. Here's NCDOT now.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm your host, Miracle King. With school underway, Governor Roy Cooper declared September as Safe to School Awareness Month. State transportation officials are aiming to raise awareness of the danger that risky driver behavior creates for children commuting to school, in particular, those who bike or walk. More than 1/4 of all pedestrians and bicyclists hit by vehicles each year are under age 19. The risk for children is not when riding a bus, but when approaching or departing one. To help keep children safe, remember these tips when you're driving. Slow down to the designated speed limit in school zones. Completely stop when buses are loading or unloading students. Don't proceed until the bus driver turns off the red flashing lights, retracts the stop arm, and starts moving. And give buses at least 25 feet of space when driving. By following these important safety guidelines, we can help make sure that all students make it safely to and from school. Last week, NCDOT Secretary Jim Trogdon went to Bertie High School in Bertie County to deliver over 800 school supply donations. Each state agency partnered with a county greatly impacted by Hurricane Matthew in 2016. NCDOT collected the items, and communities and schools of North Carolina and AmeriCorps volunteers distributed the supplies. Governor Cooper established the school supply drive this year to address unmet needs in North Carolina schools. And as a reminder, Walk to School Day is coming next week on Wednesday, October 4th. That's it for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. Remember, stay connected with us on Facebook and Twitter at NCDOT. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at NCDOT.com. From all of us here at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
High school football doesn't disappoint under the Friday night lights.
And the UNCP swim team has a strong weekend.
That's up next with Dolphus Pearson III.
I worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah. The boys, check it out. Stand up to my chair, it's gonna compare us.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It was a battle on the high seas when the Jack Britt Buccaneers faced off against the Lumberton Pirates. Both teams entered the contest at 2-3, with Jack Britt searching for their first conference win of the season. Lumberton defeated Hoke in their previous game, giving them a 1-0 start in conference play. Third quarter action. Pirates trailed 10-6, and Braylon Grice bust out a huge 48-yard run to put the Pirates in Buccaneers territory. That Bucks defense is stout. Bucks Michael Harris lays a big hit on Boo Boo McDougal to force a 3-and-out for the Pirates. However, Pirates would regain possession, and quarterback Braylon Grice steamrolls through Britt and Lumberton players to fight for extra yards on 2nd and 10. Just when things were looking up, Grice muffles a snap and is swallowed up by a host of Buccaneers. Britt will march down the field and score on a 6-yard touchdown run by Glenn Young. Next Buccaneers possession, Brennan Shortridge finds Barry Elliott on a screen pass that goes the distance. But the Pirates answered back with the 3-yard touchdown by Braylon Grice. Grice has accounted for all except one touchdown this season for the Pirates. This closes the gap to 24-17 with 10-17 left to go in the fourth. Lumberton fights hard in the potential comeback victory, but ultimately falls short to Jack Britt 30-24. The Fighting Scots of Scotland County and the Purnell Sweat Rams had a typical Friday night. Within minutes of the game, Scotland had their first touchdown on the board with the help of Zamir White's 25-yard run. After Sweat ties the game, Scotland quickly answers with another touchdown as quarterback Warren Bell holds onto the ball for 50 yards. After Smiley McQueen left the game with an injury courtesy of Rams defense, Zamir White went on a scoring rampage. White scored 2 touchdowns to make the score 27-7. And then White ran for 25 yards and yet another touchdown, and he still wasn't done. The Georgia commit finished the half off with a 70-yard run to make the score 50-7. Zamir White scored his 100th career touchdown and is just 7 yards shy of 6,000 career rushing yards. The final score of the game was 57-20. We had a showdown in Fairmont as the Golden Tornadoes took on the Whiteville Wolfpack. Fairmont receiver Jordan Waters is an intriguing collegiate prospect with offers already from Wake Forest and Duke University. First quarter, Whiteville quarterback Todd Moss breaks loose through Fairmont defenders to set up 1st and goal in Golden Tornadoes territory. He capped off the drive with a bruising 7-yard run to give the Wolfpack an early 8-0 lead. Golden Tornadoes quarterback Derek Arnett answers back with a 38-yard connection to Javon Morris, who displays impressive hands with the catch. Arnett looked for Morris again in the back of the end zone, but it was deflected. With a flag for pass interference. Whiteville would force a turnover on downs and convert that to a 10-yard touchdown run by Keshawn Bellamy, and the Wolfpack extend their lead to 14-0. However, Fairmont would not be defeated. Arnett finds Waters on a 7-yard screen pass that would set up a 2-yard touchdown reception by Javon Morris. He would finish the day with 4 catches for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Gordon Tornadoes fell to the Whiteville Wolfpack 58-16. The Pikesville Bears traveled to Laurinburg to take on the St. Andrews Knights this past Saturday. The Knights fell in their last home contest 38-20 to Faulkner University and have few opportunities left to win at home. Let's get right into it. Knights quarterback Keyshawn Brown struggles to find an open receiver and is sacked by a bevy of U-Pike defenders. He finds running back Jacob rushing on a quick pitch for 6 yards, but it wouldn't be enough for the first down. A botched punt gave the Bears great field position, and quarterback Sonny Warren finds Brandon Randall for a 13-yard touchdown to give the Bears an early 21-0 lead in the second quarter. Knights try to get some offensive fishy going, but to no avail as Brown is swallowed up on a quarterback keeper. The woes continue for Brown as he is picked off by U-Pike's Roman Morris. Back on defense, U-Pike's Sonny Warren is devoured by Knights' Michael Lundy. Lundy was shaken up on the play, but would later turn in the game. Knights running back Trevor McNeil led the team with 52 rushing yards and a late fourth-quarter touchdown. Yet the Knights couldn't. The offensive struggles continued with only 4 turnovers and 177 total yards on the day. Pikesville will go on to win big in Laurinburg by a score of 41-6. The Braves football team continued their road campaign Saturday at Newberry College. The Wolves just held the Braves to just 77 yards in the second half to fuel their 28-6 victory over the Braves. This is the 3rd straight setback for the Braves and their 3rd straight loss against the Wolves. Senior E.J. Williams caught 4 passes for a team-best 43 yards to help pace the offense. Christopher Plotch had a team-best 7 tackles alongside Tyler Hinton, who turned 6 tackles into a trio of sacks. The Braves will continue their road trip this weekend to Wingate University. The Braves soccer team came off a 3-game winning streak before heading to Francis Marion on Wednesday. Saturday, they played Georgia Southwestern and crushed them with a 3-0 win at home. Kinsley Collins had her first career goal alongside a pair of goals by Stacey Scott. This victory moved UNCP into a tie for second place in the Peach Belt Conference standings. In their second game against Converse, the Braves crushed Converse in a 5-1 win. Teammates Kate Wisner, Kinsley Collins, and Katie Watkins all had their fair share of goals in the game. Wednesday's game against Francis Marion was a success as well as the Braves won the game 1-0. The UNCP men's cross-country team was led to a 17th place finish with the help of Nate Nash in the 8K at the Queen's University Cross-Country Challenge in Charlotte. The women's team entered just 4 runners, so they weren't a registered team. However, freshman Corey Pethers led the way for the women. The Braves will be back in action this weekend when they head to Florida to run in the Florida State Invitational. Since we've last heard from Braves volleyball, they've continued their losing streak against Fayetteville State, Mount Olive, and most recently Francis Marion. Against Fayetteville State, they lost in 3 sets. When they played Mount Olive, they almost closed it out, but lost 2-3 in the 5-set match. In their most recent match against Francis Marion, the Braves had more blocks and digs than the Patriots, but the Patriots came out on top in their PBC match. Later in the week, the Braves will take on Claflin University at home. The UNCP swimming and diving team showed a lot of improvement after their first season last year. Their recent meet against Columbia College was highlighted by 2 freshmen, Megan Hunter and Abigail Wood. Hunter achieved first place in 2 out of the 3 of her individual freestyle events, and Wood was right there with her. She claimed first place in 2 of her individual events of the butterfly and the backstroke. The Braves will be back in the pool this weekend at Converse International in Spartanburg, South Carolina. The golf team finished 7th place out of 17 teams early this week. Junior Alexandria Bear had her 3rd career top 10 finish with a pair of 77s. The Braves carded a .315 on Tuesday alongside Monday's score of a .311. Wingate University jumped in front of Tusculum to claim the title on Tuesday. The Braves have a 2-week break until their next tournament in Dahlonega, Georgia at the Leanne Noble Memorial Tournament. I'm Dolphins Christian III, and that's sports.
That's all we have time for.
See you on another episode of Carolina News Today.